What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Cleveland Pulse YouTube channel. I am your host, Justin Harold, and with me, as always, my co-host, Jeff Santa. We are right back with you guys on a spectacular Monday after a typical Sunday showing of the Browns. And we got some news. We have some news. The Browns have traded for Dion Jones, linebacker from Atlanta, in exchange of a swap between 6th and 7th round picks between the Browns and Atlanta. 652 total tackles, 8.5 sacks, 11 interceptions, and 43 passes defended throughout his career in Atlanta. Obviously going to fill in the Mike linebacker spot. The linebacker position in shambles, as we all know, as we've been watching for the past couple of weeks, with Walker going down, Phillips taking over, JOK kind of being in and out and a little all over the place, and Talkie just being talkie. But all that being said, Jeff, how are you doing? How are you feeling about this trade? What are your thoughts?
I'm doing good. Like I said yesterday, I believe in the live stream, I guess Anthony Walker going down is just a bigger injury than anticipated. If Andrew Berry's willing to go and do this during the middle of the season, but you see the performance yesterday, it looks like a bunch of JV players out there. So Andrew Berry makes a trade before midnight, and if you're not getting the job done, we'll bring somebody in to get the job done. I like that he gets interceptions. I like that he could play coverage. And I like that he could tackle. Besides that, I don't know how effective he's going to be right away. I'm not sure if it's going to take 6-7 weeks for him to, figure out Joe Woods' brain. But we'll see,
Going to do the crash course, the spark notes.
The whole thing's a crash course. Crash into each other and burn.
Yeah, all those things you said are nice, Jeff, but in all reality, the biggest question of it all is, what does he provide run stopping wise? Because obviously that's our biggest flaw as of right now, outside of broken coverages. I think it's interesting because right before we got on, I was just trying to think with Jeff about, does this mean Jacob Phillips is completely out of a job? Are they going to try to do more 3 linebacker sets instead of playing the nickel so much? It's going to be interesting to see what his exact role is, because I don't think he's going to come in and be the starter for you this upcoming Sunday, but I think that's a very possible route that happens the following weekend. I don't think it'll take him exceptionally long to get the calls down. I mean, typically it's just what happens in the NFL. It's almost like you get traded one day and you're expected to know the playbook by the end of the week, and that's just kind of how it might go. But that all being said,
who was the green dot? Was Phillips the dot?
I would assume so. I assume
that's what I don't get. What are we just
middle linebackers
going back to JJ3? I don't know.
Yeah, but in terms of Dion, he has 6 years in the league. I believe as of right now, he's currently on the IR because he had off-season shoulder surgery, but also that there was a falling out in Atlanta, and they've been looking to trade him. So he's been looking for a new spot to call home and maybe not revitalize his career, but also just, get back on the field and get to playing, because in his last season, he had 137 total tackles, 87 solo tackles, 4 quarterback hits, 1 forced fumble, and 2 sacks. So, I mean, a vast improvement in terms of the linebacking room that we already have. He might come in and be the best linebacker if JOK doesn't return to form very soon here. But, Jeff, defensively, does this take us a notch up, or are we still going to be in no man's land? Let's not consider this upcoming game, but just in terms of, the rest of the season moving forward.
It's just at that point with this squad where it can get worse, but it really can't get any uglier. So I don't mind the move. I will criticize the timeliness of it, because I've always felt that Andrew Berry was proactive and not reactive, and I'm not a huge fan of reactive general managers across all sports. I think that's what got Kobe Altman in trouble in a different sport that we've talked about in prior years before he really went on a tear these last 2 off seasons. Don't come at my neck in the comments just because you started watching Cavs basketball the last 2 years. But I digress. I just wish we would have done something earlier. I wish, like I said yesterday, I wish you would have paid a D tackle in the offseason. I wish you would have maybe went and got another linebacker. Even 2 off seasons ago, we were talking about people like Quan Alexander. Like, we knew that this position was an issue the last 2 off seasons. He gets the move done, and the last time we traded a 6-round pick, we got Amari Cooper. So not all hope is lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. At least with, Amari Cooper, you kind of knew what you were getting. And I think we know what we're getting here, but at the same time, like, is one guy enough to, and, we're not making him out to be Khalil Mack or anything, but, he is a proven commodity by the looks of things. Obviously, I'm not huge into Atlanta, so I don't know. I don't watch game by game, but, his stats kind of speak for himself as a sure tackler by the looks of it, kind of just like Anthony Walker. We've said these things before. But Jeff, the move's done. It's happened. And it's a added body to the linebacker room. However, would you have preferred this or some D tackle from anywhere? Not like a Pro Bowl or a guy just like Dion, probably not going to be fantastic, but probably the best player that we have at that position now. Like, it's not hard to be better than the guys that we have at D tackle right now, and it's not hard to be the best middle linebacker for Cleveland right now.
I guess I would have preferred this because I feel like if you have a veteran professional in the room, if that's what he is, like we said, we really know nothing about him. He could be a total head case, not professional. It doesn't seem like that. Usually Pro Bowlers aren't traditionally like that, but you never know. But it's like, I feel like that room could put it together with a veteran in the middle, and it made sense with Walker, which was another reason we gave him another year, which we thought was interesting coming off of last year's season. We thought we might move on from him.
Yeah.
But it's like Jacob Phillips can't be the guy. He can't be the number one. JOK can't be the number one yet. So if this guy slots into the number one and you give up secondary and tertiary duties to those other players, you're fine. A D tackle like Deion Jones, so to say, that ain't helping this D tackle room. You're going to need to add at least 2 names, and you're going to, honestly, I would go out and look for another edge to try to revitalize your career, and then a D tackle maybe even after that. This D tackle room is just hopeless.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's interesting because I'm trying to look up the track record that we have with linebackers since Barry and Stefanski, and technically, I guess you throw Joe Woods in there personnel wise. First linebacker of the Stefanski Joe Woods system was B.J. Goodson.
Not bad.
Not bad.
He was the Walker of that squad.
Yeah, he was the Walker of that squad. I was one of the people who was very down on him. I did not enjoy him a lot. However, he only played 1 season with us. He had 91 tackles, which is good. And not much else outside of, 2 interceptions. He did do well there. But his next season was his last. He only played 1 game, and he's not currently on a roster. Okay. So then we go to Anthony Walker. I just have to type his name into Pro Football Reference.
Who's that guy that we had? Wasn't he a linebacker on in the 2020 team who was a Super Bowl winner with New England?
You're talking about the dude with the Seahawks, who's the
Seahawks.
Winner. He won the Super Bowl MVP that year.
Wonder what that guy's doing.
What is his name?
That guy a call. I don't even know.
What is his name that we can't remember it?
Because
they brought him because he was there with B.J. Goodson.
That's why
they brought him back the year after that with what's his name? But I'm looking at Walker's stats from last year, and he had 113 as our middle linebacker. And I think again, we thought he was going to be gone, and he came back for another year. And now he's injured. He might not even get a job after this, potentially. I mean, some team might, give him one more shot, and then he might have a BJ Goodson type route here. But
Malcolm Smith.
Yeah. I mean, he was serviceable at the outside linebacker position, but it's interesting because we got Anthony Walker when he was 26. He played that last season when he was 26.
Mm-hmm.
Deion Jones is currently 28, and BJ Goodson was also 26, I believe, when I was looking at his stats. So, they're still getting them at that relatively like young age, kind of going into like what you would expect them to be their prime. But it's like JOK is the only other linebacker that we've gotten and have gotten like production out of. And I'm just hoping that like, hey, like, are we gonna actually get production out of Deion Jones, or is he just gonna look like another Joe Schmo? Is he gonna have his days like JOK has throughout this season, but just be lackluster in general?
Yeah, I'm nervous about that too. He's probably just another body, but honestly, if he's a sure tackler, he'll instantly boost the credibility of this defense, because there just wasn't, even with Clowney and Miles out there was no sure tacklers out there on all three levels of the defense yesterday. And it was just embarrassing. I mean, 170 yards given up to a team that couldn't run the ball on anybody. So that's Barry has built himself into this box that I think me and you have talked about, that we thought could be like a risky or reward type of roster building. He wants other teams to throw the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. He wants other teams to, I don't even know what it is. It's like he wants other teams to throw, but they can run if they want to.
Right.
Like hey, challenge our defensive backs, but Joe Woods doesn't play him like that. So it's kind of worthless. It's like, okay, our DBs are going to shut you down. We're not going to pay any D tackles in the offseason. We don't really care. We'd rather just, if you want to run, go ahead. Well, now that's come back to bite us in the ass.
Yeah. And the Sheldon Richardson year, we keep going back to the Sheldon Richardson year, and we probably shouldn't, stick on this whole overall topic in general any longer. But I just think like we lost Sheldon Richardson, and our run game has never, ever looked good since. And that could just be totally wrong, because I'm sure at not last season, or maybe it was last season, at points it did look good, but it hasn't been the same.
And that 2020 season, like, everybody thinks that we've just progressed, even if it's incrementally every year. That roster, top to bottom, is from 2020 was probably better. Defensively, way better.
In terms of how they played, yeah. Like on paper,
Ogunjobi, I mean, maybe not I don't know though. It's tough, but it's like people forget how good Olivier Vernon was that year.
Yep.
People forget that Ogunjobi was on that team.
Yep.
And that was Jacob Phillips's freshman year.
Yeah, with BJ.
Malcolm Smith was good. MJ Stewart was pretty good on that team. Taki was okay. Mac Wilson, and then the backbreaker of that defense was, of course,
Only Denzel at that point.
Andrew Sandejo. That was the backbreaker of that defense. He was terrible.
And that's where we're going to cut it, everyone. Andrew Sandejo has been brought back up. It's game over.
Just saying, I'm looking at the roster, Football Reference, top down. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, here's hoping that Deion Jones can be the difference between us losing single digits by like 3 points. Yeah? How many games have we lost by 3 points now?
All of them.
So hopefully he can just help us not have those 3 points and help us win games. So
I'm in.
All right, everyone. Well, if you made it through all the way to the end of this video, thank you very much. Please make sure you guys are subscribing and liking, leaving us some comments, telling us what your opinion is on this Deion Jones trade. Obviously, again, us not giving up really anything in general. So obviously we get great value out of this. Another thing that Andrew Berry has always done very well is getting great value for what he's got. And yeah, with that being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.